Hello and welcome into this week's edition of the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Rewind Show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below and hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's edition of the Cup Series Rewind, we're looking back at today's Bojangles Southern 500, the 69th annual Bojangles Southern 500 from the Darlington Raceway, Darlington, South Carolina, the 1.366-mile egg-shaped oval, 367 laps, 500.1 miles around this track. And if you notice, obviously the set is a little different today. We're on location. We'll be in DuQuoin, Illinois tomorrow for the ARCA race. That's why, obviously, I'm in a hotel room tonight and not at the usual set. So things are a little wonky tonight, but actually this kind of works out. This looks okay. I'm assuming it sounds okay. The levels look okay on here, so we're just going to roll with it. We'll get into the race recap now. 6 cautions for 35 laps in this Southern 500. Nothing in stage number 1 that went 100 laps. Stage number 1 went to Kyle Larson, who had a very dominant car on the night. Only one incident in stage number 2 that happened at lap 129 as the 23 car of Joey Gase spun down the front stretch to bring out the caution. Stage 2 ended at lap 200, Kyle Larson also taking the stage victory in stage number 2. We had 3 cautions in the final stage, so we had a few incidents there. First one coming at lap 313 as Ryan Newman, who was trying to get to pit road, but for some reason was still in the groove. I'm not really sure what the deal with this was. But he was trying to get to pit road. Clint Boyer, still coming with a full head of steam through 3 and 4, goes to the inside to try and pass a lapped car, and instead just runs right into Ryan Newman, who is slowing down to go to pit road. So that causes a pretty big wreck between those two, and it was the end of the night for them. Second caution in stage number 3 happened at lap 330. We had debris in turn number 2 to bring out the caution. And final caution of the night happened at lap 345 as the 96 car of Jeffrey Earnhardt spun in turn number 2. Lap leaders on the night, Kyle Larson far and above led the most laps with 284 laps of the 367 laps led. 30 laps went to Martin Truex Jr., 24 went to Brad Keselowski, 18 laps were led by Joey Logano, and 11 laps went to Denny Hamlin. All right, let's get into your results on the night. Kyle Larson did lead 284 laps, led far and above the most laps on the night, probably had the best car in the field, but did not win the race. Brad Keselowski wins the race. His first Southern 500 victory sweeps the weekend, as we remember he won yesterday's Xfinity race from Darlington. So he got his first win ever at Darlington yesterday in the Xfinity race. Comes back tonight and wins the Southern 500. So a really big weekend for Brad Keselowski. A 1-2 finish for Team Penske with Joey Logano coming home in second. This is the first victory for Team Penske at Darlington Raceway since 1975 when Bobby Allison swept the weekend. So a huge weekend for Team Penske. Kyle Larson, who we talked about having such a dominant run on the night, really probably had the best car far and above in the field. Comes home in the third position, just restarted in second on the last restart and just got back in traffic, and really the car did not handle the same after that. Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott rounded out the top 5. Rest of your top 10 were Kurt and Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, Jamie McMurray, and Denny Hamlin. 11th through 20th, Martin Truex Jr., he got trapped a lap down at one point due to pitting and getting stuck a lap down from one of those cautions. Fought his way back to the 11th position, had a better car than that, though. Did come home third in the first stage, so had some speed in the car. Just after getting trapped a lap down, took him a lot to get back even up to 11th. Eric Almirola comes home in the 14th position. Ryan Blaney kind of off all night, never really was a factor. 15th on the night for Ryan Blaney. 21st through 30th, Alex Bowman down here in the 88 car comes home in the 23rd position. Had some speed in the car. We saw some really good speed in practice and qualifying from him throughout the weekend. Just for whatever reason, just didn't really perform in the race. Matt Kenseth was in the 6th car this week. He came home in the 25th position. Bubba Wallace, 26th on the night. Daniel Suarez with a disappointing run in the 29th position, as he has one race left now to make the playoffs, and really, at this point, it's a win or nothing for him to get into the playoffs. 31st through 40th down here, the final page. William Byron had some engine issues late in this one. 35th on the night for William Byron. Clint Boyer, we talked about his issue. 36th for him. And Jimmy Johnson down here also had some engine issues. 39th on the night for Jimmy Johnson, only completing 227 laps. All right, so that's your results from the Bojangles Southern 500. Now let's head over to the Darlington Media Center. We'll see what your top finishers tonight had to say.
I don't know, but it was cool to see both cars like that. Leading a bunch of laps. Both kind of had disappointing results, but Jeff Karpoff and Paulette Karpoff with DC Solar, they love racing. So to put on some good runs for them this year is really cool, and to but at the same time, coming up short like we have a lot of times with their brand on our car is disappointing. But really happy with the car that we brought to the racetrack this weekend. I felt like from the first run on the track on Friday, I knew we were gonna have a pretty good weekend. Didn't know it was gonna be that good, but happy about it. Just wish we could have got the win.
Yeah, the 1-2 is nice. I was racing Larson there thinking, man, it'd be cool to get 1-2. It'd be really cool to be 1 instead of 2. But, overall, really cool to see the speed in the Team Penske cars tonight. We ran a top 5 all night long. So I'm proud of that. Probably more proud of that than the 1-2 finish, because you thinking right around the corner here is going to be, playoff time, and you got to have some speed. So, and I think at the last couple of races, Bristol and here, I know they're unique racetracks, but to see the speed and that momentum build, that's key right now. So, really cool to see that. I feel like, I kind of go back 2 restarts. If I had a little better restart and be able to hold off and get the second, our pit stop was probably good enough to take the lead. And if you had the lead and had control on the restart, that bottom lane, you're most likely can maintain the lead and then win the race. We were good enough to win the race, so just had to have the right track position at the end. So, pit crews did a great job. It was a total team effort for all the Team Penske. All our pit crews were on it, so that's really good. And our cars were good as well. So everyone worked the plan and did a good job. Brad had a good run there to the second to last restart, and he took off like a rocket ship. And then we made some adjustments to our cars and be able to keep up a little bit the last run, just a little bit too late by the time I got by to 42.
The number 2 Miller, a genuine draft.
You don't have any Bojangles laying around, do you?
I can go look.
I would eat some fried chicken up here if you had it.
All right, we'll go take a look back there for you.
It's all gone? Are you serious? Man. You ate it, the sweet potato pie? You got that left? No, I can't eat that. I like the chicken. Popcorn? They didn't sponsor the race. They're out of here. Go ahead.
All right. Congratulations, Brad.
Thank
you.
you.
Go ahead.
You got to sponsor the race to get it. I just feel like that's the deal,
Chris Murdoch, Race Chaser Media. Brad, with not being able to get a win at Darlington and now being able to sweep a weekend and have Rusty Wallace's throwback on the car today, what has this weekend as a whole meant to you?
Well, man, I'm kind of in the moment right now, and I got out of the car just a little dehydrated, had a couple beers, so I'm not sure I got the best answer for that. But I would say it's pretty damn cool. This is such a special racetrack. It always has been, and I think it always will be. And when we added in all this retro stuff a few years ago, it's like a spark that just reignited this track as just being stupid cool. I mean, to win here and to win wearing Rusty's colors and driving his car, it kind of feel like I'm in a dream from when I was 10 years old, But it's something I'll carry forever. It's probably the biggest win of my career, especially with it being a weekend sweep at one of the toughest tracks on the circuit. And today was no different. So I'm just really, really thankful, really, really proud, thankful of the team effort that it took to win this race. That last pit stop put me in position, and of course we had to capitalize on it. But we were in position, and the pit crew nailed it. I got a great launch out of the pit box, and I couldn't have beat Larson by a foot. I haven't seen the pit road cam, but man, that was cool. And I knew if we could get out front, we were really strong on the short runs. Not as strong as he was on the long runs. But I knew if we could get out front there with, 20 or so to go, that we could drive away. And I was just praying every lap there wouldn't be a caution, and just we were setting sail and just please no caution, please no caution. And it came through for us. Oh, hey, sweet potato pie. See, now I would have guessed, Jim, that this would have been the first thing to be gone, not the last. Oh, I'm not a sweet tea guy. I'm sorry. I ain't that Southern. I still got some Michigan in me.
We'll go right over here
I'm a
to your
lemonade
left.
guy if you got that, Bo.
All right, so we'll take a look at your playoff grid before wrapping up here tonight. And as we see here, obviously, with Brad Keselowski's win, that vaults him all the way up to 5th now on the playoff grid, as he is the highest of anyone that is in with 1 win, now with 9 playoff points. So sitting really good right now in the playoff grid is Brad Keselowski. As we look down here closer to the cutoff line, it's a 68-point gap now between Alex Bowman and Ricky Stenhouse. So what that means is anybody outside the playoffs, you've got to win at Indy next weekend if you're going to get into the playoffs. That's the only way. There's 1 race left until the playoffs. That will be Indianapolis next weekend, this coming weekend. If you're outside the top 16 right now, you have to win a race. There is no pointing your way in at this point. And that also being said, everyone above 14th right now is locked into the playoffs. The only drivers in the playoffs right now that aren't locked in are Jimmy Johnson and Alex Bowman. And the reason there's 2 guys that aren't locked in, whereas with only 1 race left, you would think it would only be 1 guy. They are so close in points. It's a 19-point gap between Alex Bowman and Jimmy Johnson. Hypothetically, let's say one of these guys outside the top 16 wins at Indy and wins their way into the playoffs. Then you have a battle for that final spot between Jimmy Johnson and Alex Bowman. 19 points is enough that Alex Bowman, with a bad run from Jimmy Johnson at Indy, could get above him and still stay in the playoffs, and Jimmy Johnson would not be in the playoffs. So that's why you have 1 race left, but 2 guys in the playoffs that aren't locked in, even though everybody outside the playoffs has to win to get into the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to watch next weekend in Indianapolis as we set the playoff grid for 2018. There's still some question marks here. Yes, anybody outside the top 16 does have to win to get in, but there are still some question marks with this. So it'll be exciting to watch in Indy to see how this all plays out. So I think that'll do it for us tonight here on the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Rewind show. Like I said, we are here obviously on location. As you can see, I'm obviously in a hotel room recording this. We will be in DuQuoin tomorrow for the ARCA race, or I guess it's probably today by the time this gets edited and uploaded and goes up. It will be today, Monday, September 3rd for the ARCA race in DuQuoin. We'll have our usual coverage from there. Exciting stuff from there. Then the ARCA race rewind will go up tonight, Monday night, once we get back. And then pole position this week, which is usually Monday night at 8 p.m. I've made the decision that will actually be Tuesday night at 8 p.m. this week, because by the time we get back Monday night, there's just no way it's going to go up at 8 p.m. and probably no way it's going to go up Monday night, period. So we're just going to go ahead, move it to Tuesday night at 8 p.m. for this week and this week only. And that is how that will shake out this week. But if you're not already subscribed, you need to go down below and hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of that coverage tomorrow from DuQuoin. We've had some great times at the ARCA races this year. These guys are really fun to talk to. If you haven't seen our interviews from these races yet, you will want to see them. It is a great time. We've got a lot of great stuff planned for tomorrow, so you will definitely want to go down below and subscribe so you don't miss any of that from DuQuoin. And hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. So with that, this has been the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.